Wow. A lot of stuff going on in the world, people. It's too much to even unpack. This could just about be a series of intel on just Venezuela alone. There's a lot going on. I'm gonna give a few minutes for some people to come into the room. I don't really know if I've got a couple that I've actually notified. I didn't really leave much of a notification for this. And like I said, if you're not into my hot biscuit operation, that's fine. No worries. You know, stick to my mechanical stuff. You know, nobody's gonna judge you for it. I see I got one in the room. So yeah, there's a lot going on in the world, and we were almost, honestly, listen to me, this is the truth, we were almost in World War III. I mean, it was that close. If you don't know how close we've been to war in the past, you better catch up. It was real close. So hey, I hope everybody's having a good day. I'm fixing to have some coffee and a cigar, and I'm gonna tell y'all what I've done found out. Okay, the other day I said I could not give you an informed opinion. The guy asked me, he says, what do you think about Venezuela? I said, I can't have or give an informed opinion on it because I'm not privy to knowledge of the circumstances. Well, I have been made aware of some of the things going on that give me reason to make this video now. Not saying that I have all of the intel. You don't have to have. It's a blanket, like a blanket permit. You'll know everything about it. You'll get the gist of it with what I'm going to drop. And like I said, we were almost in World War III. We were close. And I'm hoping that it still doesn't escalate. And I'm hoping things work out. You can always hope for peace and pray for peace. But it was scary as hell when they told us we had, honestly, when you're looking on stuff on Twitter and you're seeing leaders of nations telling you that you have 72 hours to get the hell out of their country or it's going to pop off, and then you watch your leaders that have been told to get out, that they're saying all non-essential personnel, which basically means wives and children of military, that they leave but the other people stay, and that we're backing a president that has basically, let me move this so I don't get photobombed with that, but basically we're backing a president in that country, and it's fine. You know, I'm with it because now I'm privy to the knowledge. Okay, sorry I had to do that. I'll just leave it. Let's see, I'll back it out a little bit. Anyways, we are backing a guy that my understanding is that he was in parliament of that country, and he saw what was going on, and he said that Maduro usurped the country. So his answer was that while he was leading a rally, he took a constitution, a book of his constitution, a copy of it in his hand, and he swore his oath of allegiance because he said that the country had been taken over by an outside force. So when that happened, they had two presidents, and about half the people were after, supporting one, and half the people were supporting the other. And I think what has happened is the president Maduro, Nicolas Maduro Moros, if you call him that, Nicolas Maduro. Maduro was the president, and because he tried to usurp power, I believe, in the legislature, maybe he was trying to do away with stuff, kind of like how they did in Nazi Germany, and get rid of the judges and all that. I don't know what he was trying to do, but this guy stands up and put his life on the line. His name is Juan Guaido, and so Juan Guaido swore himself into office by holding up a copy of the Constitution in one hand in front of a bunch of people in a rally, and saying it was more than a rally. They were all took to the streets. It was a protest. So Basically, he swore himself in as president, and by his constitution, he has the right to do that. That wasn't just a crazy thing. In the United States, you can't do that, but in their country, it's written into the constitution that he can do it. So here's the problem. China, while we had an embargo on Venezuela, China went in there and loaned them, the quote is, more money than they could ever pay back. They could never repay that much money. We're probably talking in the trillions. And everybody wants to talk about, well, it's for their oil. We do get, you know, it's in the tens of thousands, maybe it's 70,000 barrels, you know, from there. It's not light sweet crude. It takes a special process to clean it up. And, you know, we could do it, but it's not worth writing home about, okay? There's better places to get oil. So the thing is, Russia and China, and it was for a time Mexico, we'll see what happens with that, because people can change sides, you know. They were backing Venezuela. We were backing, I'm saying, when you say Venezuela, I'm talking about they were backing Maduro as president of Venezuela, saying that he's the rightful leader. We are backing Juan Guaido. So that puts you in a situation when Juan Guaido says, no, y'all should stay, and the president Maduro, who was the previous president, or you would say, you know, non-legitimate to us, is got control of the army. That's a problem when he tells you, well, then get out of my country in 72 hours. The problem is all of the officers in that army, they have no chance. They have no choice except for to support Maduro, because we have already indicted all of them on crimes in the United States, and they're wanted for crimes in the United States. That's one thing people aren't aware of. Every single general that he has, they've been indicted, okay? So they're wanted, and if they don't stand up for Maduro, then they'll probably be killed. Well, here's the problem. Some of the army has actually, you would say, defected. They wanted to say there was a small number of them that were, I guess you would call them reservists, but they weren't. They were full army that decided to get together and back Juan Guaido. So in that situation, we've been asked or told to leave in 72 hours. That 72 hours ran up Sunday, people. We were supposed to be out of their country by Sunday at 4:16 p.m. because at 4:16 is when Maduro made the tweet and said, I've asked him to get out in 72 hours. So it's the 23rd. That's 3 days. The 26th. Okay, I want to say it was Sunday. So here's the situation. At 4 p.m., 1600, you know, Eastern, we were supposed to get out of that country. That puts us directly in the crosshairs of possibly being under some sort of attack because he asked us to leave. Now, here's the thing. He's going to set up some kind of an emergency, what they call, not an embassy. He's asked all of our embassy people to leave, and he took his own embassy people out of our country. He pulled his embassy people. And he said, we're not going to have trade relations with the U.S. We're not going to have any type of relations politically, but we're going to set up, I guess you'd call it like a post office. A little bitty post office for our people to be in so that we can have talks if we need to. So our people have been relegated to something he's setting up for us to have communicate, basically. So therein lies the problem. You got two presidents in one country, and Russia and China Russia went and put in their special forces to protect Maduro, the one they back, the previous president. So they've got full-on special forces. These are active duty. These are Spetsnaz. These guys are there to so-called protect Maduro. So if we do anything, then it's not going to be a proxy war at that point, because you're not dealing with insurgents that you back and in another country backs the other side, like was in any way in Syria or what, or in Vietnam or anything where, you know, it's like a gentlemanly way of saying, okay, by the way, you know, we're not allowed to hit any targets that might actually be Russian targets, because then we'd be at war with Russia. These are actually people they're not going to deny. Like there were 300, I think it was, Russian mercenaries in Ukraine, and they denied them, and they said, no, we don't have anybody there. So the US military took them out. That's what happens. They, oh, that's not your guys? Fine, they're causing problems, bam, they're gone. This, Russia's owning up to them. That causes a deep problem. So they're working with this problem, but here's what you don't know about Venezuela that you should, and it might change your mind, just like it recently changed Israel's mind. It's my understanding that Israel was not backing Juan Guaido until recently. And then it was on Twitter, hey, Israel backs Guaido. Yeah, guess what? Newsflash. It's because they've become enlightened and privy to knowledge that the United States has. And I think that Russia and China has backed the wrong horse. I try real hard. You see, everybody wants to be in my video. Y'all see that. So here's the thing. All right? Let's get this straight. Here's the thing. You got here, I'll fix it. Maybe I can fix it like this. There we go. So here's the thing. And I'm fixing to get photobombed again, a container. This is his third time around. He's like a dog running around in circles that don't know where to sit down at, I'm telling you. So here's the thing. So you got Russian special forces in there, and I think they backed the wrong horse because they don't know what really is going on in Venezuela. But now Israel backs our guy and our idea of backing Juan Guaido. So think about that for a second. There's something that we told Israel, and I'm going to tell you what I think it is, and I'm going to tell you what I think's going on, and this is just opinion at this point. But it's backed up by a lot of fact that I found on the internet that leads me to believe that that's the reason, that's the major reason. In the United States right now, we have a porous southern border. First off, drugs are pouring in through there, and there's this drug called fentanyl. I don't know. I was never educated about that drug in any way. You know, they have like drug education courses and stuff that they teach people in the United States, in case you don't know in other countries, to make you aware so you don't wind up not recognizing a drug. And here's the situation. People are dying from it. The number from last year alone of the people who died from this drug was, I wrote it down, 70,237 people. That's 70,237 people in 2017 died of an overdose of fentanyl, or fentanyl, either way you want to say it. So here's the issue with that. It's coming in through our southern border. Now, people want to talk about the drug cartels in South America. That's nothing. People want to talk about, you know, well, drugs may be coming across through Mexico from, you know, Central America. Let me tell you something, people. Venezuela has a drug cartel that is running the government. The guy who is the president that China and Russia is backing, they're betting on the wrong horse. Okay? Doesn't mean that their military might can't try to protect him. What it means is they're betting on the wrong guy, because it has been said all over the internet and the places that I've looked is he does exactly what the drug cartel wants him to do, and he's a puppet. And all of his generals are in on it, and that's why they were indicted on stuff. And here's what's up. Basically, they move something like 12,000 metric tons per year of drugs out of there. Cocaine. Okay? They don't care if there's people there or not, or if they starve or not. They just need the land to grow it and everything else. What's going on is they are selling more drugs in Venezuela and running the government, and that cartel makes more money than the entire GDP of Russia in 1 year. Okay? So Maduro is their puppet. and they own Venezuela and they're running it. So yes, there is some oil in Venezuela. It's not the greatest thing in the world, but there's a fentanyl problem in the southern border. There's a cocaine problem in the world, and it seems to me that Trump has taken on the biggest dog on the block and said, if I'm going to fight this thing, I'm going to fight all the dogs, and I'm going to take on the biggest one. And they are the biggest one on the planet. It's the biggest cartel. They're running an entire country. They're moving 12,000 metric tons, and I don't know how often it is, of cocaine and all this. And they are, they have the ability to influence different governments, to put people in different positions, and to take over different offices in countries because of all the money they have. And you know, like there's old native, the Native American tribes. There was one, I want to say it was the Blackfeet, that they said they measured their strength by the enemy that they chose to make their enemy. They would pick on the biggest dog on the block, and even if they couldn't beat them, they would say, this is our strength because that's our enemy. Let me tell you something, people. Trump has got brass ones. He took on the strongest enemy that he could find in this situation where you're trying to root out and find the source of all these drugs that are coming to the United States. He found them, and he's against them. And from the knowledge that I was shown, and from what I've seen in different places, and then people have sent me links to stuff of what is going on, so I can make an informed opinion and tell y'all what's going on in Venezuela. It's not about the oil. There was a video that someone sent me that I've got to find, or find another link to it. If you want to put a link up to it, make it a comment when this video is done. Basically, they put up a link to a video, and that video had it was when Obama was president. He went down there and met with all of the heads of all of these countries that were in South America. And every one of them were sitting there and they were rubbing their noses and stuff like they had just done cocaine. And they looked like they were out of their mind. And that's what somebody had commented on there about. They have all that stuff going on down there, and they are running a game on the world. And Trump's taking them on. That is commendable for somebody to take on the strongest dog, the biggest dog on the block, the strongest enemy, and try to make our country better by getting rid of all that. There's a lot to it, and people are on here saying, oh, well, we shouldn't be, you know, backing someone or what. Now, let me tell you something. That guy saw what was going on with his country, and he saw it was wrong, and he could be killed at any time by that country. See, here's the thing. They put him in jail and what they called him, detained him in a unnormal way the other day. They let him out though. I think it's because he had too much public support, and because then at that time it would have been a reason for, you know, probably for us to go in. I'm not going to make comment on that, but at that 72-hour mark, it could have been World War III real fast. I'm glad it's not. I'm not sure what's going to happen, but in the end result, it's not about oil. It may be partially about oil. It might be about the investment that China made, that Russia made in those people, but they picked the wrong horse. Not because they couldn't win in a conflict of one way or another. You know, that's always up for discussion 100 years later. But the thing is, I don't think that they knew that he was a puppet, and I think they're going to find out. I think that's why it's peaceful now, is I think they've been given knowledge, and they're like, ooh, maybe we overstepped. I don't know what they're privy to, but if I can find it out, like I tell, you know, like I say, I'm just a dumb truck driver, right? Well, yeah, a little more than that, but you think about it, I'm sure they know also. He's trying to make our country better than what it is, and like I said, you can have an opinion one way or another on that, but once you start learning facts, like it's best to wait and reserve your opinion until you find out the real deal. That seems to be the real deal, people, is that it's a drug cartel, and that they're going to have to realize that that's what they're backing. It's a bad situation. And so, you know, if you want to stop drugs, you got to go to the source, and that's what they did. They went to the absolute source, and it took brass ones to do that. So for everybody that's making videos and saying, oh well, you know, we shouldn't be, this guy, some people called him random person, or that he's nobody. He was, my understanding is he was in the parliament at the time, and he saw what was going on, and he was smart enough to know what was in the Constitution, and he stood up for himself. Yes, he now has the backing and recognition of the United States government, but before that, he did not. He just was like, liberty or death, I'm standing up for this, because he knew it wasn't right. So those generals, though, have been indicted already, and they're wanted in the US, and so that's why they have to stand by him. They don't have any choice. So if you have any comments you want to make about Venezuela, I had a guy on there just the other night talking about he was in Brazil, and a squad of jet fighters, you know, went towards the border, scrambled there. I'm sorry, it was 8 squads, which a World War II squad, a squad can flex. A squad can go anywhere from, you know, say 8 or 10 to 16. I was thinking 16, he said 12. So 12 times 8, even if it's 10 times 8, is it almost 90? You know, they might have lost a couple that couldn't start up and couldn't go. These are jet fighters. 4 of those in concert can do a lot of damage, can do a lot of stuff. So they were looking for something major to happen in that 72-hour time period. And there may be something going on right now that we haven't even been told about. We were right there at the edge of, though, what happens next. And in that event, and when it happened, you know, anything could have happened. But I didn't want to go live and say, hey, in 72 hours, you know, this could happen. I didn't want to scare people through the weekend. I didn't want to be an alarmist. I was hoping that it would get worked out anyways, and evidently they are managing the situation. But the truth about the situation is, it's a puppet government over there in Venezuela under Maduro, and that's why the other guy swore himself in, and that's why technically there's 2 presidents. And, you know, now I don't know what side Mexico is on. They were on the side of Maduro. That may change when they find out what's going on. But then there's a cartel there too. So we're trying to stop all these deaths. We're trying to stop all these things going on. You know, our government is. And, you know, it's one of those things where this side of the world, for something to happen, it won't be over there. If something happens and there's some kind of a conflict, we are so close to Venezuela, it's not even funny. When it comes to, you know, the effects of a war, could they, you know, give us trouble or try to attack us just because we're that close? Which they're always even running through Panama with their subs and all that. I mean, you know, they're close anyways. But the truth is, we've taken on the biggest dog on the block, and it's for the reason of stopping the drugs from coming into the United States and going all over the world. I gotta tell you, they have armies. That cartel down there has armies. They have planes. You know, they have an army. Not the Venezuela army. They have their own army. And ships and everything else. They've got it all. There's nothing they don't have or couldn't get. They have limitless funds that they've had for so long. And, you know, they could care less if there's no people in that country, because all they need is the land and the routes to get on and off of it and to move their drugs. So they don't care if Venezuela's just goes to hell in a handbasket. And all the money that we've, you know, any aid that would be sent there wouldn't get to the people. They don't care about the people. So there's videos of those people eating just about anything in the street. There's videos of them fighting for some kind of aid that's at a truck that's not enough. And those are middle class people. And that could easily happen to us here. You know, in 3 weeks when the food stamps end again, when it all, I mean, because it was already ended, but I'm saying when the government shuts down again, they needed a little stopgap measure to put things into works. They needed to get their shit in order to make something happen. So they opened the government back up. It's not over. It's not over, not even close to over. And so we're going to have to wait and see. If y'all got something to say, you go ahead and say it. I just wanted to bring this up that, like I said, I was asked the other night about Venezuela, and I told him I could not have an informed opinion. After what all I've researched and checked out in the past 4 days, you know, got another photobomber coming up here too. But in the past 4 days, all the things that I've researched and checked out, it's pretty clear. It's pretty clear that we're backing the right side. And I think that it will be easily explained to these other countries, and they'll come on board also. I think Russia and China, even as much money as they've got invested in it, I think that they'll change their minds, depending on if they think they can get their money back, if they recognize the Juan guy over the Maduro guy. Yeah, it's kind of a tricky situation. Y'all want to say something, go ahead and make a comment. I'm just sitting back, I'm fixing to have a cigar. I'll be out of here in a minute. I wanted to do this video though. I thought it was important to put up, because there's a lot of misinformation out there, and there's a lot of people who are jumping to conclusions and who are thinking, why are we backing a well, what you would call a separatist movement in a country or something like that. Evidently the guy Maduro was trying to, like he called him, Juan called him an usurper. He was trying to usurp control, take over control of the country in a way that's not legal to their constitution. People are starving and they don't have access to stuff, not just because of our embargo against them, but because their country is not run right from the top. They based everything on oil production money. That's fine, they had all their eggs in one basket, but they were spending and spending and spending all kind of defense. Yeah, this was brought to you by Western Express. How about that? Got photobombed again. Everybody wants to be in my video. I can't hide, I'm telling you. Be in a corner pocket, it don't matter. I'm gonna get a projector and I'm gonna start showing movies on the sides of trucks. So anyways, you know, it's a tense situation. It's almost like a standoff. And like I said, Mexico was supporting Maduro. We will see if they change their mind on it. Another, let's see, Israel, like I said, Israel was, I think previously not mentioned, or whether they were supporting Juan or not, but now they're on our side and they support Juan. So evidently we have given them information they didn't know about, because it's like, why would Israel even be interested? They're way over there, right? But basically a war on our continent, if you call it that, is a bad deal, and it's a little close to home. Say what you like, people. Make a comment if you want. Like I said, if I was an alarmist, I would have done this video 4 days ago when we were over with our 72 hours. But our people have been told specifically, the words were, all unnecessary personnel are ordered to leave Venezuela, and non-essential. And then the essential ones are supposed to hunker in place with provisions, which means they're supposed to have food and everything for weeks and weeks of a possible war or something to pop off. It's the same thing they do when there's saber rattling between North and South Korea, or anywhere really. So they are trying real hard, I believe, to take care of this diplomatically, and hopefully they can show the information of what's going on to Russia. And hopefully, since the Russians are on the ground right now watching that president that they're calling the president, the former president, whatever, hopefully them watching Maduro, they will see what Maduro does and who he interacts with. And then that will give all that away. Like, hopefully they already have, and they'll be like, okay, there is something to this. And then they can track all the transactions of money and what's going on in the country, planes and stuff that are flying in and out, because they'll see the traffickers. They won't miss them. Maybe just going take a little bit of time for them to see what's really going on and what's up. Make a comment. Don't beat me up too bad. Who have I got in the room? Strong silent type? What's going on, people? Talk to me. Tell me something. Because like I said, I'm just putting out a little bit of information I've got. And we're gonna see. We'll see what happens. Because like I said, when it was 72 hours, I could have made a video, you know, on the 23rd when I saw the tweet at 4:16 from Maduro saying that we've got 72 hours. All you know, the United States has 72 hours to get out of the country. I could have made a video then. I could have made a video when the 72 hours was up. I could have made a video. Me and SHTF were talking the other day. Should I do a video even that day? He's like, do it, man. I'm like, well, you know, I'm gonna wait, because I didn't want to be alarmist. I didn't want people to not sleep on a Sunday before they go to work thinking World War III is gonna pop off. But this is real stuff, and it's over here now. It's not worlds away. And Mexico being on Maduro's side, who knows what they would allow down there. But there is likely going to be, if something pops off, a massive influx of people on our southern border at that point. Like the whole country, all the countries around there may be leaving their countries because of jets rolling in and stuff. So, hope the guy, if he comes in here and sees this video, I hope that the guy that I was talking to, that he said that they scrambled those, you know, 8 squadrons of jets in Brazil over to the Venezuela border. I hope he's all right. Check in if you hear it, say hello. Yeah, it's been tense. I've been stressed about it, and I've been worried about it. But like I said, I couldn't put out an informed video until I saw. I'll put a link to the video that somebody dropped on Twitter. I'll try to find it. It shouldn't be too hard to find, but sharing it might be a little bit more difficult. But it's on Twitter, and it may be on a page on the internet that was shared to Twitter. So if I can do that, there's a guy that it's basically, he gives, this is one of the links I was shown, he gives a geography lesson of what's going on with that cartel backing that president and what all's going on. So I'll put a link to all that. Hopefully it won't lead to a conflict, but it's definitely a disagreement at this point. And I wish I had answers for you. I really do. Kind of crazy. But I'm gonna chill. I know it's a lot I done dropped on you people. Gonna have a cigar and some coffee. Say hi, how you doing? I was trying not to get that dude that was walking back and forth, this Chinese guy. It was really weird. He's just walking back and forth like crazy. I'm like, dude, you don't know I'm videoing here or what? So there we go. That's where I wanted it to be at. Just the lineup. That's my crew. No, I've got people that help me out, but those people I don't know right there. It's been a week already. The week ain't even started yet. Don't seem like. There's been a lot going on Twitter. And well, there goes the switch. I don't want to really start this thing up. I'll leave that off, switch it that way. Yeah, they've got the government funded for 3 more weeks basically, it's a stopgap measure. It's a temporary thing. And I'm sure they got their reasons. They're still putting off the State of the Union address. It seems like they've got that one lady who tried to run for governor and they voted her down, that the Democrats decided that's what they wanted to put up to make the rebuttal speech. So that's kind of what they do. They'll trot out there whoever they have, no matter how unvotable they are. I don't know what to say about the word about that. I think she's like $200,000 in debt, and that's why part of the reason they didn't want to vote her in, and the other reason is that she wanted to take gun rights away from people, and she wanted to do away with, there's a campus law that said you could carry on campus, and she wanted to take that away from people. They don't want you to be able to defend yourself. That's pretty sorry, especially as much security as they have to defend them. It's hardly fair. Samuel Colt would disagree. You know, they say that God made all men and Samuel Colt made all men equal. Well, that's kind of true. And then laws come into play. So there was a guy the other day, I will bring this up, he was a felon and he was talking about how you could still carry cap and ball. So it's, you know, there's still, hey, in the Civil War a lot of people died from those, and so they are effective. But yeah, when it comes to gun rights, those are not considered firearms. So just so people know, anything that doesn't take a bullet. So even if you've been convicted like that guy, he said he was in a situation where he was under 18. A guy attacked him. He took that guy's gun. There was a fight, and the other guy got shot. But he could have defended himself if he was over 18, but because of his age, he got put in prison. And since then, he's had issues and whatever. He made a video on YouTube about, you know, his everyday carry being black powder. That's how that conversation started. I had somebody send me that, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. So, but there's people who want to take away your rights to even carry anything, period. Whether you have done anything or, you know, got in any kind of trouble in your lifetime or not. And she's one of them. So keep that in mind when you're watching that rebuttal speech, that woman does not want you to be able to defend yourself, period. They're trying to attack in every angle any type of gun rights they can. I don't know, if I got people in the room, feel free to make a comment. Like I said, I've got to light this cigar and then I'm going to actually do some work, people. I've had to deal with some truck maintenance issues that I've had to be present for. You know how that is. It's like, are y'all done yet? Are you done yet? You know, it's enough to hold you up. They are a time waster. That's definite, especially when they mess up. I got a couple of steer tires and one of them was warped. I had to do it under warranty, and they said, well, you got to buy a whole nother tire and then they'll give you your money back. That happened. I had to get another tire, and so I bought 3 tires, 3 steer tires. When you tell people, hey, I needed 3 steer tires, they're gonna look at you funny. What are you talking about? There's only 2. Well, that's life. Sometimes you find yourself buying 3 steer tires. And the alignment was garbage. So, and the guy that checked it said, nobody did an alignment on this truck. The front end hadn't even been touched. So the other guy lied. So I'm dealing with some half-ass mechanics. And I'm going to another place that I already have set up, and they've said, hey, you come in here, we've already contacted that place, it'll be under warranty, and we'll do another alignment, and we just got a brand new machine. Because the place I had the tire changed at the other day, a new steer tire, they had an issue with their alignment machine. It was wigging out, and the right side, I got a video of that, but the right side was not communicating between 2 of the lasers. So had laser issues the other day, trying to get an alignment. I always try to get an alignment when I get new steer tires. It only makes sense to protect your investment. It's worth it. You got, you know, say about $800 worth of tires. You kind of want to pay another 175 or so for just the front axle, not a 3-axle thrust angle alignment. I'm getting photobombed again. Man, these drivers, they just won't stop. Anyway, so I'm having a chupacabra. I'm gonna say, I hope you have a cigar. smoke it with me. You're welcome to, you know. Man, another chupacabra. That is the absolute last one I'm going to get. I'm going to get some more Macanudos, and I'm going to do it right. I'm going to go to a cigar shop and try to get some rum dipped ones, some of the Trader Joe's rum dipped, and some of the Java by Drew Estate, because those three are my top ones. People, have a cigar. I'm lighting this one up while we get photobombed by another truck. Yeah. What are y'all up to? Where's everybody at? What you doing? What's popping? I've already talked a little bit. I'll let you guys talk for a second. And if SHTF gets in here, I'll say hello. Either way, you can check him out on Twitter. We're sharing info, a lot of us, about what's going on. And when I mentioned Venezuela, he told me somebody who is all about it on there. So I'm gonna check that guy's stuff out and kind of vet it and go through it, see if it's something that I can actually follow and hit follow, you know, like you subscribe to someone, you follow them on Twitter. But definitely I'm looking at some of it, and it seems to be like it's truth and good intel, because it mirrors other stuff that people have sent me. So yeah, we had 72 hours, and that was a tense situation that a lot of people just slept right through and didn't even know about. So you got to have faith in the government to take care of you, and you got to have hope for peace, you know. Let me know if I'm doing a good job bringing this to you, people. I do what I can. This is my Operation Hot Biscuit. Like I said before, it's like Operation Hot Musket, only I can talk about it. This is a pretty good cigar. I think another 10 minutes I'll be out of here. This is better than the other two cigars that were the same ones. See, that's the thing too, you never know which one's gonna, you can smoke a cigar, don't give up on it. Somebody says it's good, buy a couple of them. I always buy like 2 or 3. So you'll know, you'll get a good round of opinion of it. You might find one that's phenomenal and be like, what is this about? It's all in how they make the batch, how the wrapper was grown. Kind of like the steer tire, like I said, I got a bum steer. There's a real thing as a bum steer. My steer tire was a bum. It was warped when they put it on the machine and they spun it, right? Man, I'm getting photobombed again. I can't help you. Hold on. Yeah. Gotta be taller than that. Okay. So yeah, been kind of crazy. So I got a bum steer. Yeah. It was shaking like crazy, even though I got self-centering lug nuts. I got them, you know, that I got them balanced with beads and everything, and it was still shaking. And I had a driver. The way you do it is you get on the CB radio while you're running down the road. You say, hey driver, I need you, you know, you got a copy? And they'll say, yeah. I say, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to get in my left side, check it out, and then we'll do a little leapfrog, you know, and I'll go around you, and you let me know if you see anything on the passenger side too. Something's going on with my truck, you know. Or if you got straps you're worried about and you're a flatbedder, you can have them check it out that way. Drivers helping drivers, because if it's a tire issue and it's hopping like in the front, the only way you're going to know exactly what it's doing is to ask another driver to look at it while you're driving down the road, and they can tell you. You know, they say, hey, it looks like your rim's warped, or it looks just like it's bumping up and down like you got a high spot on the tire, or you know, it's warped right to left like you got front end parts loose. That was the way the tire was doing, but it was a bad tire. I had them take it off the truck but still on the rim and put it on the machine and spin it. You can't spin it fast enough to see if it's balanced when you got beads in it though, because it takes going up about 30-40 mile an hour for the beads to work correctly, and they're going to show it's off every time. It's going to fluctuate between 4 and 6 ounces. If it's as much as 10, you got an issue. But yeah, you know, it's drivers helping drivers. And that's why you got to have a CB radio too. You know, it helps you out a lot. So I found that out the other day. That's what we did, is I had somebody run around me and tell me what was going on in my truck. And I was about to get off at the next TA anyways, but I needed to know exactly what to tell them. There was no problems with the one on the driver's side. There was all kinds of problems with the one on the passenger side, the steer. And that'll get you killed quick. You blow a steer tire, you could die. You grab that steering wheel like a bear, and that's all you got. And you ain't letting it go. It's like riding the back of a bear. You can't let it go or you're dead. So then, at that point, you know, I took out the laser thing that I have that is a non-contact thermometer. I use that for everything. I checked all the tires and the temperature on all of them. The ones he told me about. One on the trailer that was an issue, and then one on the steer. Those were the ones that were hotter. So you notice fluctuation and difference in heat. It's either there's a problem with the tire, or there's a problem with the brakes locking up or something, or a problem with a bearing seizing up on that side of that axle. So I check the temperature on the tires, then I check the temperature of the hub, and then I shoot the laser through the rim at the brake drum. I get 3 different temperatures and I compare them all going around the truck. That's part of a pre-trip, and that's the best I've found, because I used to put the back of my hand to the tire to see if one was running hot. I mean, there's even a place in the CDL guidebook that says, hey, look, if you have a hazmat load and you've got a hot tire, you've got to remove it from the truck until you can find out what's making it hot. Well, that, what I call heat gun, which it's a non-contact thermometer, you can buy them at AutoZone, you can buy them at, you know, Harbor Freight. That is the best gauge of all of it. It will tell you exactly what the problem is. And you'll know. You don't have to guess, is it the tire, is it the rim? Because if the tire's getting hot because the tire's got a problem, it's the tire's fault, as long as the hub is still cool. If the hub is hot, then it's the hub problem, maybe bearings. If it's the drum, it's even more likely to be not just bearings, but the brakes. So I done got into that. I was talking about Venezuela, but that's just me. Look, I'm a trucker, I'm at work, and this is my water cooler. You're welcome to it. Like I said, I hope everybody's doing good. The people wasn't in the room. I didn't notify everybody, and I probably should have, but I wanted to get this off my mind right away. I wanted to put this out there. And something happened where it said signal lost, something. Who knows what's going to happen with the video when I put it up. I'll try to make it right as I can. And it should go up as a video. But welcome to my world. Like I said, when you're informed, it will scare the shit out of you, is what it will do. You'll see what stuff's going on. But yeah, so Trump took on the biggest dog on the block. So that's commendable. It's kind of crazy. It's definitely a way of stopping the source of the drugs, is to go after the source. I mean, you know, and all the problems. Crime will be reduced. Everything will be reduced. That's all there is to it. You know, if people are into crime and they're into all that trash, well, I can't stop you from not liking my channel or not liking what I'm talking about or not liking me. But the end result will be your grandchildren and great-grandchildren will be able to walk down the street to church or store or anywhere else and be safer because of it. Because of the efforts that other people are doing on your behalf. You don't have to do anything. You can have an opinion about it one way or another. But even the border towns will tell you, yeah, at one time they were under the thumb of the cartels, and then, well, the fence, the border wall, whatever, went up, and it made things a lot better. You know. So there's no denying the results of it. But yeah, in 3 weeks it's going to shut down again. And I think that'll be what they will call the final shutdown. I think it's going to be shut down for a while. I think it has something to do with Venezuela and what pops off down there. I think it has a lot to do with a lot of different things. And they're taking care of business. And I will go further into something else too. Trump talked about, people thought he was just making fun of it at one time. The 1,000 points of light thing. I'll go into that and I'll explain that. It's almost demonic of a term, 1,000 points of light. See, the devil or Satan or Lucifer, whatever you want to call him, his name means bright and morning star. He was considered the most favored and in control of, but the highest and most favored and likely most beautiful angel that God made. So you think about it for a second. He is the morning star. He is a point of light. If there were 1,000 of him, there would be 1,000 points of light. Doesn't mean they're good light, because that would be against everything good, and that would be considered bad light. So once you start thinking in that way, it's funny that he mentioned the other day on Twitter that there were like 1,000 burgers, and they were all like destroyed or whatever. It's really kind of funny. Like there were 1,000 points of light and they shut them all down. That's what I'm getting out of it. You can get what you want out of it. That's what I'm getting out of it. I think that they rooted out something that was not good, and then they wanted to gloat and brag on it. Like, you had 1,000 points of light, but we extinguished them. That's hilarious when you think about it like that. So it's not deep thought, people. It's what's actually happening and what I see on the internet, and they make responses back and forth between each other, and that's what I've extrapolated from it. You can come up with your own conclusions, but why would anybody give a damn about 1,000 cheeseburgers? You know what I'm saying? Why would anybody, and then, I think it was an opposition to the fact that they ordered however many thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars worth of hot dogs in one night early in the morning, and that was considered to be something else. So there's a lot to the internet and what they're putting up. It's a lot of crazy stuff that's going on, and it's real, and it's not conspiracy theory, it's conspiracy fact of what's going on. I think that he extinguished about 1,000 points of light, and they weren't good light, and that's why he was talking about Bush earlier had made, Bush Sr. said in a speech 1,000 points of light, Trump made a speech. He's like, what the hell is he talking about? 1,000 points, trying to make fun of it. He knew what he was talking about. And then when he gets into it, he says that comment on Twitter about the hamburgers. That was a reference to him extinguishing 1,000 points of light, 1,000 problems, 1,000 really bad problems. And I think it was likely 1,000 different places that are running drugs. I think that's what it's about. I think it was 1,000 bad actors. So that's just my extrapolation on it. You can do your own research. You can check it out. I find it to be really funny. I find it to be hilarious. The Venezuela thing is just a little scary. I think that people are going to come on board. I think that, like I said, before, it's my understanding that Israel, either they didn't have an opinion or they weren't at that point, backing us on that opposition leader being the president, one guy being the president, and now they are. But for sure now they are, regardless of what they were before. Maybe I'm uninformed about what they were before. But they're backing it now. So guys, if you got anything to say, you go ahead. I'll be getting out of here in a bit. That's all I got. That's about all I got. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on. A lot more than just that. I just decided to make this the topic of this video. And there's always something popping off somewhere. You can check it out. There's a couple of different articles on the Venezuela thing. I'll put a link to the guy on Twitter that did a breakdown of it, but you can check out Military Times, US Military. There's like 3 different places that I looked at that were websites. You can check out Twitter, see what Trump said about you know, Pence, I'm sorry, said about backing Juan, and I want to say that it was, Marco Rubio that made the comment that Israel is now backing Juan Guaido. So those are the places that I looked and found the information about 4 days ago. But like I said, I didn't want to do a video on it yet because I didn't want to scare people, just for the fact that it was like a countdown and a threat. And that's one of those things, they use tactics like that. They're almost like terroristic. And if you perpetuate that, if you tell people, oh, we've only got 72 hours to get out of this country, then you spread the fear that they're trying to spread. And I thought more than anything it was a fear tactic, and I didn't want to spread that. I didn't want to be a part of that. But this is the breakdown of what's going on in that country. If you got any questions, go ahead and let me know, and I'm gonna get off this thing. So that's all I got. I'm gonna finish up the cigar. I'm gonna get to work. Y'all stay safe. It's been a lot of cold weather, a lot of ice on the roads and stuff we've had to deal with. We get through it though. Keep chains, you know, whether you drive a car or a truck. It'll get you traction. It'll be like night and day. Even helps in mud, believe it or not. I've chained up and had a situation where back when I was running flatbed, it was in the middle of nowhere. They're like, that's where we want you to be. That's where we need it. That's where the crane's at. And it was muddy as everything. So it's like a tractor pull. Chained up. It'll get you out of the mud. Hit like, hit share, subscribe. Do whatever you want to do with the video. You know, take it or leave it. It's not about picking a side. It's just about facts and what's going on. You can have an informed opinion if you are informed. Like I said the other day, I was a lot less informed than I am now. I thought it was just a regime change, that, you know, somebody was trying to run a country into the ground, somebody else was trying to take over. I was unaware of all the other stuff going on. And I appreciate all the other patriots and people that are out there trying to share information, that put it up on Twitter and put it up on the internet to find, you know, digital soldiers that are putting stuff up. Keeps us informed. I'm getting off this thing. Y'all have a good one. This will go up as a video, and be like that guy right there, moving and shaking. Have a good one. Thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. Do what you want to do. Catch you on the next Operation Hot Biscuit. That's all I got for now. I'm out.